Right, right. So, as I said earlier, a warm welcome and a good evening. So, just for thank you for joining this entire seminar kind of a thing. And today is 2nd of March, and it's 8:30 p.m. And we are starting this entire thing with a little introduction given by myself about me, so that we can slowly start things on. And I have few action points to be discussed, and so that we can slowly go from one by one. එකින් එකට ගානට යන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. I'll give a very brief introduction about myself. There are people, most of the people, there are people who might know me, and there are people who might not know me. And specifically for the YouTube audience who do have subscribed my channel, so you might know me more than most of you who might hear, right? So as you know, maybe through the Telegram group or maybe through the WhatsApp group, right? So I'm Sunny Ravas. So by profession, I work in the corporate sector full time, and part time I work as a tuition provider and a lecturer, right? So I used to be a full time lecturer at University of Sri Jawaharlal and at a private university, and then I shifted my career into corporates, and right now I work in the corporates full time, plus still continuing the passion which I had on lecturing and tutoring. And right now I tutor for A levels, as you guys know, and most importantly for chartered accountancy and CIMA, CMA, and for AAT. So with all this expertise and experience in the surface of lecturing and tutoring, I just want to make this one a little kind of an product crispy rather than just a little session or just a little class or as a seminar. I want to make this thing more important for everyone who is joining here and for the people who join through YouTube also. Hari? So that's pretty much in brief about me. And so in terms of academic qualifications, so I was a graduate from University of Sri Jawaharlal with the first class from Department of Business Economics. And I did my master's also from University of Sri Jawaharlal in Business Economics. So that's the academic front. So I'm pretty much coming from entirely on economic based background, and that's the pretty much things about me, right? I don't want to take more time of explaining about me and me and me. So today entire day is the very first day, right, which I wanted to give a little bit of more focus on 2022 A-level exam. So previously we had 2021 people who we had a nice time together, and we had a very fruitful time together. So if you have seniors coming from most of these Colombo based schools, right, you can ask from them. And it was a nice time, and we did to manage so much of things together in the past few months, right? So now I had a good break. Last month was a good break for me. Now we are starting back again with 2022 A-level exam, which we think, all right, which was supposed to be in August, and which we think might be there on September or October, or else, yes, ideally it will be October. It won't go more than that. So today entire session, I just want to give a glimpse on few key important things that might help you for your entire 2022 A-level exam paper, right? Exam එක ගොඩනගා ගන්න key importance key important points I just want to elaborate on this session. ඊට පස්සේ moving forward, you will be getting connected with me, maybe from Telegram, maybe from WhatsApp, and then we have a whole hell of a program to run through until you do your A levels, and මම ඒකත් detail explain කරන්න. Hi. First thing which I want to let you know is that as this subject of economics, first thing is you need to know what do you mean by economics as a subject. මම කියන්නේ අපි first lesson එකේ කතා කරපු මේ introduction to economics නෙමෙයි. මම කියන්න හදන්නේ economics as a subject. As a student who sit for an exam, right, you need to first know what is this subject about and which sort of things are there in this subject and how to study all these parts. There another simply මේ subject එක නිකන් අපි දැක්කම it's economics no, right? ඒක code කරපු subject එක. So මේකේ එක parts තියෙනවා, එක areas තියෙනවා, and you need to know how to study all these separate parts individually in an orderly manner. Right? Orderly manner එකට පාඩම් කරන්න ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි තියෙන අමාරුම part එක. Harada. So very simple. I'll give a little glimpse so everyone can understand, and it will definitely add value to you. Harada. Make a good daganna. Isala make igana ganna. First thing, this subject, as you know, right, has its own 12 lessons or 12 lessons. You know, macro kila part එකක් තියෙනවා, micro kila part එකක් තියෙනවා. You get MCQ paper, paper 1, paper 2 කියලා තියෙනවා. අපි ඔක්කොම විස්තර කතා කරමු in detail. But first, what you need to understand is this subject has key few types of areas, not key few areas, key few types of areas. My examples ටිකක් කියන්න, right? First thing is we know this subject has high amount of theories. Right? This subject has high amount of theories. Theories in on the example එකක් මොකද්ද? Right? I'll tell a simple example. Law of demand. So law of demand is a theory. ඒක තමයි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. ඒක theory එකක්. So we do have what we do have theories in this entire subject. අපේ subject එකේ theories තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? Then again we do have what? We do have graphs also. නැත්නම් අපි මේකට කියනවා illustrations. අපිට මේකට graphs තියෙනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් illustrations. A simple example, this would be PPC. Simple example, this would be PPC. Theory තියෙනවා, graphs තියෙනවා, එහෙම illustrations තියෙනවා, and then we would also have equations. Right. Again, an example, equations, demand equation. Right. So most of the students, right, most of the students think මෙච්චරයි අපිට තියෙන්නේ. Theory තියෙනවා, graphs තියෙනවා, equations තියෙනවා. Right. There are few other parts which people think, students think that we don't have, but actually we do have in our syllabus, which you don't really get it. දැන් ඔයාලා පාඩම් කරනවා කියන්නේ මොකද කරන්නේ? පිටුව පෙරලා ඒකේ තියෙන theory ටික කටපාඩම් කරනවා, highlight කරනවා. Graphs ටික 4-5 පාරක් අඳිනවා. Equations ටික කටපාඩම් කරනවා. ඕක නේද ඔයාලා පාඩම් කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. That's what you do as studying, no? Right? පාඩම් කරනවා කියන්නේ ඕක නේද කරන්නේ. So I even did the same back then. But the point is when we really see our paper, right, A-level examination paper, and when we really see this entire part, right, of what we really do, අපිට තියෙන පොඩි discrepancy එකක්. මේ ගොඩක් ළමයිට ඉක්වන්න අමාරුයි කියන්නේ because not because of these three, but because of the other things, right? මොනවාද තව තියෙන්නේ, right? Our entire lesson has, or as our syllabus has, two more things, which I say most of the people think is not really important. Important නෑ කියලා හිතන parts එකක් තියෙනවා, but really is important. One is we call it as facts. Not facts, it's facts. Facts and figures. Right? Facts and figures. Facts and figures. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Facts and figures කියන්නේ, right? Facts and figures කියන්නේ, right? Simple example. Inflation is 15%. And inflation is 15%. Then මේක ඇවිල්ලා fact එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? මේක ඇවිල්ලා number එකක්. Right? මේක ඇවිල්ලා number එකක්. So මේවත් අපි syllabus එකේ තියෙනවා. අපේ lessons අස්සේ තියෙනවා. Right? ඔයාලා නිකම් past papers පොඩ්ඩක් check කරලා බලුවොත් 45 to 50 MCQs. Last 5 MCQs or as last 10 MCQs pretty much come from his part ළමයි. නැත්නම් recent trend එකේ මොකද වුනේ? Right? Debt එකද මොකද වුනේ? මෙන්න මේ part එක is there in our syllabus, but we think okay this is not very important. ඇයි? මේක පොඩක් කටපාඩම් කරන්න ඕනේ. and කවුරුත් මේක exam එකේ ගොඩක් කරාට ඉස්කෝලෙන් හරි ටීචර් කෙනෙක් හරි කවුරුත් මේක දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි central bank annual report එක refer කරන්න ඕනේ. Central bank annual report එක refer කරලා we need to identify these variables, this stuff, and keep this thing in your mind. So මේක ගොඩක් කරාට missing. So what? Now we have facts and figures, then we have the theory parts or as the concepts, then graphs, illustrations, and then we have equations. But the most important part is we have another one which I personally feel and which I say this is the most important among all these stuff. This is the most important thing among all these stuff. If you really tackle it here, trust me, this subject of economics would be very easy peasy kind of a thing. Mara lazy method tap karna. The point is what? Every good thing has a bad thing. Make a and identify is also patta. It's really hard to really get these things sorted. You really don't know what is this, right? Econ subject facts and figures, theory, graphs, equations. Hurry, mama done, all of done. But the real point is, look at the method up missing. Make in Tamai good up paper and may subject take method. Right? I don't really believe that you might be able to get this order. Might be the first time that you guys are hearing this. In this subject, we have something called logics, right? May subject again, we have the analytical part of thinking. May part connecting dots, right? May entire syllabus logics based upon logics, right? Yes, we do have facts. Yes, we do have theory. Yes, do we have graphs? Yes, do we have equations? But not bust, but right? The point is, when the make logic take identify. Simple how to identify logic, right? One technique that is we call as 5 Ys, right? 5 Y. Adim passe. Onama concept onama theory, onama graph, onama equation, onama fact, anything like that way. When your teacher or as when your colleague or as when you see in a document, when you see in the news, right? Always ask this question, why? Right? Ask this question, why does this happen? Simple example, law of demand, why law of demand happen? Then they will say, okay, due to price effect. Then again ask why price effect. Then you say, okay, income effect and subsidy effect. Then it says why subsidy effect, why income effect. So you need to ask about at least like 5 times down. Why? That is the most important part of economics. Lamai godak at economics amaru kiyanne may logic එක තේරෙන්නේ ඇයි මේක ආවේ. Simple example. Now these days Russia is invading Ukraine, right? Or back in Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky or someone, right? The presidents. So they do have this war. Putin is invading Russia. News social media, right? Putin, Ukraine invade karna, Putin will even though we have a huge petrol or diesel queues in Sri Lanka. Putin Venai, right? So anyway, the point is you need to ask why. So in your subject also, why Russia invade Ukraine? Why? That might be a reason, no? The same thing may subject case, right? Whenever you study this subject, try to capture this part of why. If you really can answer this question, why, make a why answer now. Trust me, you know this subject. Right? So exam monkey amaru part make amaru why කියන part එකට answers තන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාලා මොකද කරලා තියෙන්නේ? ඔයාලා මොනවද කරලා තියෙන්නේ? ඔයාලා කටපාඩම් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔයාලා by heart කරලා තියෙන්නේ. right වෙන මුකුත් නෙමෙයි. මේ හැම එකම by heart. But exam එකේදී by heart කරපු කිසි දෙයක් අහන්නේ නැහැ. They are not going to ask whatever the things we have been by heart. They has a complete different stuff. කොහෙවත් නැති එකක් complete එකක් තමයි අහන්නේ. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? You get lost. What හිතාගන්න බෑ ඇයි මේක ඇහුවේ. How can I write an answer? Past papers book එක අරන් බලන්න. Even in the first question, very first question, ලියාගන්න බෑ නේද සමහර questions වලට answer එක. සමහරවිට හිතාගන්න බෑ මොකද්ද මම ලියන්න ඕනේ. What should I write? Why the paradigm comes? Because you don't know this. So make a tamai amaru part. Hari. On the first thing, econ can subject what you need to know, you need to first understand what sort of things are there, right? What sort of things are there in this syllabus or else in this subject. This subject facts and figures, theory, graph, equations and logics. Next one. Now the point is, what should we really do to study this? In Sinhala, we have this very famous concept called Tane Hatiyata Ane. Tane Hatiyata Ane, right? Depending on the place, depending on the time, and depending on the problem, you need to tackle this properly. Tane Hatiyata Ane. So the same thing, depending on the part or either depending on the type, the way that you need to study also need to be different. මේ ඔක්කොම ඔයාලා මොකද කරන්නේ පාඩම් කරනවා කියලා ඔක්කොම එකට දාගෙන එකට පාඩම් කරනවා නේද හැම ටර්ම් ටෙස්ට් එකකදීම මොකද කරන්නේ okay I want to study economics කියලා මොකද කරන්නේ you open the page and you start with lesson number 1 when you sit for your exam the most number of times the lesson which you really have studied for the most number of times is economics. That's the nature. I take it තමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Again the point is එහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. Right? Depending on each of these things separately, right? You need to know what I need to study and most importantly, how I need to study. Make a පාඩම් කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක තමයි most important. So I'm going to teach you how you really need to study all these things separately, individually. And කොහොමද අපි ඒක identify කරගන්නේ කොහොමද අපි මේක master කරන්නේ කියන එක මම කියලා දෙනවා. හරිද? හරි. First thing, I hope lesson එක කියවන් යද්දි හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් මේක concept එකක්ද theory එකක්ද කියලා දැනට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා I hope. හරිද? Now let's move on. Let's start with facts and figures. With facts and figures, what you could do and what you need to do is something like this. Right? Very simple. Make a good up right? This might be your last. Right? This might be your very last thing that you need to study. Facts and figures. Because exam good MCQ so very simple. Take a separate piece, right? Separate piece or a separate part of your book. Whatever the fact, whatever the number, whatever the percentage you come across, you can make a list, right? අර අපේ dictionary එකේ නැත්නම් අපේ textbook වල අන්තිමට තියෙන glossary එක පොඩි නිකන් keywords වගේ අන්න ඒ වගේ වට පුළුවන් වුණා facts එක වෙනම ලියා ගන්න. But again I'm telling you මේක නෙමෙයි most important part එක. මේකෙන් ලකුණු එකක් දෙකක් might be tested, right? It's studying about theory, studying how to get graphs done, equations done, most important logics. So let's go to theory. So when you study a theory, right, you know it's law of demand. So if it is law of demand, we know for a fact what happens is what? Theory, when price increase, something is going down. Right? Price increase, quantity demand comes down. So that's a theory. So when you study a theory, right? Whenever you come across a theory, you need to first understand, make a theory. What is the most feature of a theory? What is the most important feature? Then good the class won't, the session won't be like this, right? It will be more of an Q&A based one. But as this is really going on the YouTube also, I'm not really getting it like a Q&A because so I'm just going to make this very simple and smooth. So the point is, if it is theory, right? If this is a theory subject, what you need to do is, this is the place where the short note technique comes into play. Right? Theory kana lamai waterfall mokada short notes use karana. Why? Because the theory ke words godak theory. එතකොට මේ theory ගොඩ ගැහෙන්න what happens is the note become big. So you can use very simple short note techniques to summarize all your theories. අපි හිතන example එකක් විදිහට lesson 1 එක lesson 2 එක අපි එහෙම ගත්තම නම් we make short notes නේද? short notes හදනවා. short note එක ලියනවා. දැන් ගොඩක් ළමයි short note එකක් ලියනවා කියලා මොකද කරන්නේ? You write the entire note in small letters. That is not short note, that is short letters. Right? Short note එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද? So මේක ගැන අපි detail කතා කරමු maybe in the coming sessions. කොහොමද හරියට short note එකක් ගහන්නේ? කොහොමද මේ short note එකක් කරන්නේ? We'll be discussing. But if it is a theory, the most advised way of studying it might be highlighting, might be underlining, plus going with a short note. ඇයි මේක theory එක? මේක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Theories වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි නේද? ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක හැමදාම එකම විදිය. Next is graphs. So if you are drawing a graph or as an illustration, right? Again, yes, you can plug this with a short note. But most importantly, you need practice of this graph. You need to practice this regularly. මොකද ළමයි මම ටික දවසක්දී අමතක වෙනවා. Right? ඔයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔයා දිගටම you need to practice this. Example, if it is PPC, at a glance, you need to know how to draw PPC. Right? PPC, X good, Y good, all these axes. If it is a business cycle, you clearly need to know how to draw a business cycle. Right? You clearly need to know how to draw a business cycle, right? So if it is a graph, understand a graph. I need to practice this regularly. What would happen is eventually you would forget the key points of this PPC, key points of this graph. So coming back to the point, for the new people who join right now, don't worry, you don't miss much, right? We will be telecasting the same in the YouTube also. I'll put the link also so that you can revisit. Anyway, coming to the point, I was discussing about the subject and how to really study the subject separately. So we have facts and figures, which might be come at last. Taking a facts, you can manage. Theories we do have. Theories altogether, theories get accumulated. First lesson theory, it gets accumulate. So you get so much of theories, and you can't get it list. About fiscal policy, about budgetary policy, about monetary policy. Sometimes you might not have studied it. So what happens is the theories get big. So whenever the theories get big, you need to study these things very short but precise. So because of that, you can use this technique of short notes. And when you come across a graph, an illustration, you have to practice it regularly. You need to draw. Then only you get master with this. The same, you can include the same in short notes, and you can practice also. But most so importantly, when you deal with an equation, right? When you deal with an equation, what you need to do, you need to do sums as much as do sums. Now, equation කටපාඩම් කරන නිකන් ඉන්න එපා. කවදාවත් ඔයාලට equation එක exam එකේදී මතක හිටින්නේ නැහැ. Right? Try your best. Do practice questions, practice sums as much as you can. If it is demand and supply, do questions as much as you can. If it is tax, subsidy, do as much as you can. Because the point is, equation they won't never ask in your exam directly. However, exam never ever expect that the examiner would ask you what is the demand equation, what is the supply equation, what is the elasticity equation. They are not asking a equation. They ask you the final product. අන්තිම උත්තරය අහන්න. උත්තරය අහන්න නම් equation එකේ ගණන් හදලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. නැත්තම් අනේ මම equation එක දන්නවා කියලා ලිව්වට you don't get marks, maximum 0.5 marks only. To get the full marks, you need to do sums as much as. But whenever you make a short note, whenever you practice, you can include them also. කිසිම අවුලක් නැහැ. හැබැයි ගණන් හදන්න ඕනේ. දැන් අපි ඉස්සරහ කරනවා මේව. හරිද? ලස්සන එකින් එක ගානට we are going to identify and we are going to place accordingly. තැනේ හැටියට ඇනේ. And now the last and most important. මං කිව්වා ළමයි econ as a subject and as an exam, right? Trust me, මේක අමාරු නැහැ. Right? You can get this sorted with very limited time frame. පොඩි වෙලාවකින් හරි ගොඩ දාන්න පුළුවන්. It's first that you need to understand where you are lack at, right? ඔයාගේ weakness එක කොතනද කියලා you need to understand. So most of the students might be lacking with equations or sums. Some might be with theory. But I would say every one of you, including myself, we do have the weakness with logics. Exam එකේදී ගොඩක් වෙලාට යාලා අහන්නේ මොකද? What is law of demand කියලා අහන්නේ. They are going to ask why law of demand happened. Why? Why the PPC is inward bound? Why the PPC is outward bound? Right? Why when the price increase, why the quantity demand decrease? And when the price increase, why the quantity supply increase? Why? So this is the most toughest part. Most of the time, all of these theories, graphs, equations are interrelated with this. The most supreme question, how to understand and how to study a logic in this subject. I'm just opening it for the chat box, right? You don't have to unmute and speak, but if you're feeling to unmute and speak, you can do it, no harm. Else not, you can put in chat box a simple question. How can we really study a logic? Anyone in the class, right? If this is in the YouTube, you can put it in the chat box of the comment box also. How can we really get logics under control, right? Or study logics? Is there a way? Yes, there is a way. And what is that way? So I told you, facts and figures, you have to write by heart. Theories, get into a short note as much as you can. Not short letters. Concept in your own words. Then graphs, illustrations, draw as much as you can. Practice. Equations, do sums as much as you can. Logics, how to study logics. Anyone? Any guess at least? Yes. Any guesses? Any comments? Any concerns? So make it right? I know for a fact, right? Most of you might go for tuition classes and YouTube channel most of you, right? So make a part because of this part only, most of you students get failed subject right? Fed up because of this. You can't really understand the logic, right? Teacher somewhat exam, a teacher is good teacher, your class teacher or as your lecturer, they're trying to teach you why this happened. But the point is, you really can't connect. Right? Connect when then question and concepts are the connect nothing. Right? Very simple concept on connect. Why the logic is not under control. Now, trust me, if you really want to understand the logic, short note might be not be the best case. Practice, okay, might be, but might not be the best case. Sums, hardly. It's nothing other than the simplest technique called what? The simplest way of mind maps will help you to get these logics done. Or the mind maps and tree diagrams, but I would say it's as a mind map mostly. The tree diagrams and mind maps will help you to understand the logics, right? Mind map in my YouTube channel, there is a video I have done for concept PPC that I have done, and opportunity course I have done. Then 11th lesson I have done. 11th lesson too early to go, but you can watch opportunity cost. And what the other one was PPC and elasticity. I did a live stream for last year's batch, elasticity. So if you ever give it, you can see how a mind map comes into play. Now, trust me, mind maps is the easiest way to understand the logics, the logical sequence. And the other one is what mind maps will help you to connect the dots. Exam why law of demand? You can connect the dots. Law of demand happens because of price effect. Why price effect? Because of income effect and substitution effect. Why income effect? Because of the purchasing power change, or as the real income change. Why substitution effect? Because of the relative price change. Why relative price change? Because of the constant price of other factors with price change. You can go, right? That's the way to go also. Because what happens is in that manner, when you go climb down like that manner, the waterfall technique. It's like a waterfall. Waterfall like step by step or a staircase. Make a hurry. Trust me, econ is not a hard thing. But getting it sorted with this way is the hard thing, right? So the prime motive, the initial discussion which I wanted to have, given the context that the country doesn't have electricity also, right? Join me very quickly whenever that you watch this YouTube video back again. Trust me, logics are the most important. The sequence is the most important. හැබැයි ඒක ගොඩ දාගන්න බෑ ළමයි ටියුට් එකක් මෙහෙම පාඩම් කරලා. ඒක ගොඩ දාගන්න බෑ ඉස්කෝලේ දෙන නෝට් එක කටපාඩම් කරලා. ඒක ගොඩ දාගන්න නම් you need to create mind maps, right? Trust me, mind maps තියෙනවා නම් you know how these things are connected. You know how these things are interchanging from here and there. You know how things are evolving here and there, right? ඒකට තමයි mind map එකක් ඕනේ වෙන්නේ. හරිද? So this is a very simple way of studying economics. I know for a fact you guys moving forward will use the ideal way to learn a subject. හරිද? එතකොට තමයි lesson 1 එකෙන් පටන් ගන්නවා නම් අපි initially lesson 1 එක start කරන් යද්දි ඔයාලා මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? Right? Different techniques තියෙනවා කියලා ඔයාලට දා ගන්න ඕනේ. Right? ඊට පස්සේ you need to do another step. දැන් උන් අපි දන්නවා මොකද? Econ as a subject has these spaces නේ. අපිට මේ වගේ spaces ටිකක් තියෙනවා. Now උන් අපිට අපි කියන සිරාවට බොක්කෙම study කරන්න යන්න. Now when we jump into study, මම එක lesson එකක් ගන්නවා for an example. Lesson number 1, as everyone knows. On the first thing, we know, okay, we have different sort of things. දැන් අපි lesson 1 එක start කරන්න යන්නේ. මම mind maps හදන පොඩි simplest way එකක් කියලා දෙන්න යන්නේ. First thing is දැන් මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? Lesson 1. පොත open කරපු ගමන් ඔන්න තියෙන lesson 1 එක introduction to economics, what is economics ඉඳන්ම it goes up to PPC. Then ළමයි, then you guys are in the middle way of the syllabus නේ. මුළු syllabus එකෙන් මැදනේ ඉන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. Definitely lesson number 1, lesson number 2, 3, 4, again 5, might be 6. You might have done in school or else at your tuition classes also. Now when you start studying, let's take lesson number 1. දැන් අනිවාර්ය lesson number 1 එක ඉස්කෝලේ කරලා තියෙනවනේ. දැන් ළමයි මේක පාඩම් කරද්දි මෙන්න මේ පොඩි වැඩේ කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකක්ද? I want you to maybe lesson number 1 or 2 or 3, I want you to split කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ lesson එක split කරන්න maybe for 3 or 4 or maximum of 5 parts. Lesson එක split කරන්න ඕනේ කීයකටද? Maximum of 5 or else on average 3. තුනකට හතරකට කඩා ගන්න පුළුවන් is good, right? How to do it? Now you are going to split it. Right? මම lesson number 1 එක ඔන්න split කරනවා. Split කරනවා. මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? First is what? We have the introductory parts. We have the intro. Then we have the 3 basic economic problems and economic systems. Then last we have the PPC. දැන් මේක තමයි ඔයාලා කරන්න ඕනේ. lesson එක subject එක පාඩම් කරන්න කියලා පාඩම් කරනවා කියන මේ පොත කට පාඩම් කරන්න පොත highlight කරන්න is not the way to do this one. Yes, එහෙම කරලා ගොඩ දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි the point is it's not the right way to do it. What is the right way to do it? First get the lesson and split it accordingly. Split කරගන්න. Maybe for 5, maybe for 4, maybe for 3, maybe for 2. I would say not for go for 2 but for 3 at least. 5 the maximum. ඊට වඩා ගන්න එපා. ඒක complicated වෙනවා එතකොට. හරිද? දැන් මම study කරනවා lesson number 1. This is my split. Intro, 3 basic and PPC. Now you know what sort of things are there in my note. මට මොනවද මේ තියෙන කියලා මම දන්නවා. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? Now what you need to do is now we are going to go deep. Right? You are going to say, okay, on the intro you have what? You have micro, macro. You have positive, negative. You have economic goods, non-economic goods. Likewise you do have. And parts තියෙනවා. Then ළමයි වට කරන්න පුළුවන් part එකක් තමයි take this one segment. Or else or wanna make a break කරන්න පුළුවන් part වලට it's up to you, but at least take this one segment. and take this one segment and draw the short notes and draw the practice ones. And if you have any questions, do sums, and most importantly, do the mind maps. එතකොට ළමයි ideally mind maps කීයක් එන්න ඕනද lesson number 1 එකට? At least 3. ඇයි? ඔයා lesson එක 3කට කැඩුවා. Right? At least 3 mind maps need to come. Sometimes might be 4, might be 5, might be 6 depending on your preference. Short notes also same. හැබැයි short note එක තමයි sequence එකක් නෑනේ. අපේ තියෙන note එකම තමයි යන්නේ. හැබැයි mind map එකේ තියෙන්නේ මොකද? ඒක map එකක්. ඒකේ තමයි connections එක draw වෙන්නේ. තේරෙනවද? එතකොට econ lesson එකක් study කරන්න if you really want to study academic subject, first divide it, split it. දැන් මේක split කරන්න ගොඩක් අයට බෑ. Right? So ඒකට තමයි මම ඉන්නේ. Right? So whenever that we meet again in our classes, what I would do is I'll be giving you more focus, prominent focus for mind maps, how to break this lesson, how to get it sub, how to draw mind maps properly, how to make a short note, right? A part එක මම කරලා support එක දෙන්නේ ඔයාලට. Right? හැබැයි මම ගොඩක් අර note එක ඇඳලා පස්සේ ඔයාලා කරන කම්මැලි වැඩේ මොකද? මම screenshot එකක් ගන්නවා කියලා you make a screenshot, right? Or as a step. But never ever you are going to draw it accordingly in your books. හරිද? උ කරන්නේ නැහනේ. පොත්වල ලියන්නේ නැහැ නේද? ආයේ book එකේ ලියන්නේ නැහැ. Note එක snap කරගෙන ඉන්නවා gallery එකේ තියාගෙන. So don't do it. I'll be drawing the mind map for you, and we'll be drawing the mind map actually. Right? අපි ඒක mind map එක අපි තමයි අඳින්නේ. අපි කතා කර කර discuss කර කර questions කර කර තමයි අපි අඳින්නේ. අපි අඳින්නේ මොකද කරන්නේ? I want you to also draw this one. තේරුණාද? ඕක තමයි case එක. දැන් එතකොට ඔන්න මොකද්ද? Mind maps draw වෙනවා. And short notes හැදෙනවා because we do it. Now the next one is what? We need to have sums and we need to do practice questions also. I මේ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා නම් මේ පාඩම් කරනවා කියන එක full process එකක්. Mind maps හදනවා, short notes හදනවා, practice questions කරනවා, sums ගණන් හදනවා, model papers කරනවා, past papers කරනවා. මේ ඔක්කොම කරන්න ඕනේ. එකක් දෙයක් විතරක් කරලා හරියන්නේ නැත. Now the point is about practice and sums. Right? So as most of you know that we do have our own revision and paper class starts, which was one of the best we had last year with last year kids, and we'll be replicating the same this year also. So එකද මොකද කරන්නේ? Right? එක දවසක අපි lesson number 1 නම් මෙන්න මේ part එක අරගෙන we are going to draw the mind map, we are going to revise it, we are going to draw it, and we are going to discuss the nitty-gritties. And on the next day we are going to do the model paper for this part. මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි theory එක කතා කරනවා, revise කරනවා, mind map එක හදනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි practice කරනවා. අපි model paper එක කරනවා. Paper එක කරපුවාම you get feedbacks, I also get questions from you. අපි ඒක දෙන්නත් දෙයක් clarify කරගන්නවා. So 1 week we have the revision comes into play, then we have the practice and answering part, then again theory or is the revision, then again practice and questions. So ඔහොම තමයි මම මේ process එක කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකද අපේ brain එක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ එහෙමයි. ඔයාලා නැතනම් theory එක විතරක් අපි දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගොඩක් අය කරන mistake එක තමයි මොකද? theory class එක හොගාලා කරනවා. Then stop. Then you do the revision class. Then stop. Then you do the paper class. Then done. But you can't do it like that way in your A levels, specifically the subject like economics where the logics come into play. You need to do all these things parallelly. Now, while hammer theory class, you guys visit theory class. We attend theory classes, right? Theory class, you do the theory part. Yanakang, top of this, we will be start revision. On top of the, we will be concurrent start papers also. Now, I thought I to make a stretch you are in a good note. Moving from next week onwards, what you could do, we can draw mind maps together, we can revise stuff together, and on the following week, we can discuss questions, practice questions, sums, and model papers together. And most importantly, as most of you guys are there in the Telegram group, right? This is which I didn't do last year, which I'm planning to do this year, and I will be doing this year. In your Telegram group, which is the free Telegram group, a free Telegram group, right? Right. Every for the timing, it's Tuesday and every Tuesday, right? Every Tuesday and on Friday. right? Every Tuesday and on Friday, you get 10 MCQs each. Right? You get 10 MCQs each for 2 times per week. Have a week every Tuesday and Friday, you get 10 MCQs for 2 times, and it's free. Telegram group poll questions ඒක අපි ෆ්‍රී කරන්නේ. හැබැයි මේක ඇවිල්ලා ළමයි මෙන්න අර පට්ට අමාරු නිකන් අර මේ මොකද කියන්නේ මේ එක්සෑම් එකේ නා වගේ මාර ඇඩ්වාන්ස් ක්වෙස්චන්ස් එන්නේ. These are very basics. This will keep you in the process. අපි හරි කම්මැලි නේ, right? We know පොඩ්ඩක් හරි යහට මැඩ වෙච්ච ගමන් ට්‍රැක් එක පයින්නවා. So the main motive of this entire Telegram group is to clarify your doubts while keeping you in the loop. ඔයාලම loop එකෙන් ගැලවෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ loop එක අස්සේ තියාගෙන ඉන්නයි මට ඕනේ, right? ඒකින්ද මේ Telegram group එක free, right? Anyone can join, everyone can join. It's free and you get questions and you can get along with that and get it sorted. So this gonna be a full kind of an again a full precise program mega, and with so much of things, so much of work to do with a very limited time frame and with a limited involvement from you. මම වැඩි දෙයක් කියලා නෙත් නෑ, චූටි දෙයක් කියලා නෙත්, just commit. අපි මේ process එක කරමු. අපි එකට mind maps හදමු, right? එකට practice questions කරමු, එකට revise කරමු, එකට papers කරමු, එකට Telegram group එකේ questions and answers කරමු. That's the way to go ahead in this entire subject. Trust me, මේ process එක හරියට ගියොත් you guys definitely will get an A with a good results, and definitely you guys will be happy. Here another, the last year, which is the other part which I want to talk today, is the paper, your LL paper. So last time, මේ ඊයේ පෙරේදා තිබ්බ paper එක ළමයි, ඒකේ model එක has slightly changed, right? ගොඩක් කරාට එන questions, එන lessons වලින් එන questions අපි කියන්නේ structure එක ටිකක් වෙනස් කරලා තියෙනවා. So this time your paper might also have that structural change, right? ඉතින් මම ගොඩක් අපි ගිය පාර කතා කරපු questions වගේම ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බා. ඒවා එහෙමම ආපු situations තිබ්බා. So the same thing this year also we need to predict මොන වගේ questions දෙන්නේ, මොන වගේ structural change එකද that we can expect. ඉතින් මේ ඔක්කොම ළමයි process එකේ කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ process එකේ කරද්දි තමයි it comes. Trust me, this subject is very easy if you really get it right. I'm not expecting sun and moon from you. I'm just expecting a very simple commitment. Just trust the process. Just be in the loop. The loop again. Trust me, you can get a good result. One done for a fact, getting a result is the final ultimate motive for you, right? Antim result එක දාගන්න ඕනේ නේද? ඒක දාගන්න, I'll be helping you out. So yes, we have an issue with the current and power at this moment at the country. But ultimately, government won't have no issues, no concerns, rather, no mercy on you. Government කියන්නේ අනේම කරන්ට් එක කැපුවා. ඒකින්ද එක්සෑම් එක පස්සට දාන්නම් කියලා. නැත්තම් මම ගම්පාට කරන්ට් එක කැපුවා ඒකින්ද ගම්පාට ළමයින්ගේ ඉසෙට් ස්කෝර් එක අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් ඉසෙට් ස්කෝර් එක වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් පාස් මාක් එක අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ. They are not going to tell like that. Right? So we have got ample of room for excuses, but trust me, excuses මොකද දෙන්නේ? Accept කරන්නේ නැහැ. So trust the process. This is a very simple process, simple program that we could do together, right? So I know most of you know me properly, and we have been working together for past few months, and it's just a simple one step more than what others do is a very complete program how to get these things sorted, right? So what I want to discuss today, just want to keep things very short. මොකද මේක මේ අපේ සාමාන්‍ය ක්ලාස් එකක් වගේ ඉන්ටරැක්ටිව් නෑ. මම විතරයි කතා කරන්නේ. ඒකට පොඩ්ඩක් බෝරින් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අනික ස්ක්‍රීන් එක දිහා බලන් ඉඳි පොඩ්ඩක් නිදිමත එන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒකින් I just want to keep things very short. මොකද්ද? What are the takeaways, key takeaways for today's entire session, the introductory part? First, this is the most important. This subject has key different areas that you need to study and different ways to study, right? So we have facts which you need to by heart. We have theory where you can go with a short note. You have graphs which you need to practice more, where you have equations where you need to sums, and you have most important logics which you need to get it logically sequence in your mind through a mind map. Right? In detail. So we'll be starting lesson 1 next week. Same time, same place, same way. Right? We'll be starting next week on lesson number 1. and a program maker up and go revolve right? Ekan join when you enroll when you and all this stuff. You can direct approach me and I'll help you out. But what you really want to know today, given time is more than enough for you to study and get a good results, right? But the most important thing is, yes, you guys need to work hard, but you guys need to work smart also. So hard work coupled with smart work is the best way to move forward. And I'm here to help you out with that, right? So thank you for joining on the very first thing. I just want to make it very crisp and simple and summarize. So for you that, so you know the real importance of this entire syllabus, entire lesson, and entire paper and entire subject of economics, right? So if you have any questions, any concerns, just follow me with my simple WhatsApp number, which is easy to mind. I just drop me a text in there, so I'll help you out with the process, right? So thank you for joining, and if you have any questions, approach me in here, and let's connect maybe in the next week, and just before that, so that we are good to start and good to go ahead. And anyone who joined in the last way around, I'll be putting this in YouTube, so that even though there is no power cut, or if there is a power cut, you can connect with me separately through this contact number. Trust me, I wish you all the very best, and always trust the process and be in the loop of economics, and join with the Telegram group to get free MCQs every week, twice a time, so that you guys will be in the process. Right, Lamai? So thank you for joining. Let's connect next week. And if you have any questions, approach me here. Until we meet up, I'm Sunny Ravas, officially signing off for the day, and let's meet next week.